Hi there, I'm Rachel, otherwise known as Mac, and we are back again today with another Sims 4 speed build. Now, if you have been watching my current Let's Play on the channel, where I've been playing through the Sims 4 high school years, you may recognise this as the lot where my family currently live. So I thought, because we're a few episodes into the Let's Play now, I thought I would upload me building their house and just sort of talk you through what I was thinking when I built it and why I wanted the family to live in a house like this. Now, I straight away knew that I wanted this family to live on this lot. It's called the Town Square Terrace, and it's in the sort of main town area rather than the sort of more rural area, yet it has the boardwalk, because I just really loved the look of this space, and I thought it was a great place to start the Let's Play as we sort of make friends with everyone. And yeah, it was quite a nice sized lot, and actually very different for me, because obviously, because of sort of the look of this lot, it doesn't really fit having like a nice garden or being a bigger family house. And I just sort of wanted to give myself sort of the pressure, if you like, or, you know, the challenge to make something a little bit smaller and, yeah, not really in my usual build style. And yeah, definitely not the kind of house I would normally play with. So yeah, in case you haven't seen my Let's Play, the family that lives here is called the Carmichael Family, and it consists of a single dad, a teenage daughter and a child daughter. So straight away with this new pack, I knew that I wanted the teenager, Alexis, to live in this little front bedroom here with the windows, because of course we're going to be adding the trellises where she can sneak out. Now, I will say straight away, I'm putting the wrong trellis on here. So it took me an episode of my Let's Play to figure out that I'd actually done this wrong, and it's now been swapped for the usable trellis, which is under the ladders in build mode, and this one that I'm putting on there now is actually just decorative. So yeah, word of wisdom for anyone that hasn't figured that out yet, because it took me so long to work out why she wasn't using the trellis. So that has been fixed now, and it's been updated on this lot. I've uploaded it to the gallery already, so it's there for you to download. All information's in the description, but yeah, that has been updated, so it's usable now. And you can see I'm just sort of planning out sort of how the outside of the build is going to work, because like I say, I'm very used to having lots that have gardens and sort of garden paths going around the outside, and because I knew that we needed that sort of balcony from the front bedroom there to use the trellis, I sort of wanted the patio to sort of go all the way around the edge of the house on one side. And you can see I'm just extending it out here just to actually make sort of a little garden area, and we're going to put a seating area in there. And yeah, and I decided that I wanted to use this blue fence. Now, I think the house that was already on this lot, it was a nice house, it wasn't really suitable for what I wanted to do with this Let's Play, but it had, I think, almost like a blue sort of sliding texture to it. And yeah, I just sort of decided that I wanted to do that on this lot as well. This isn't really my style of building. Normally I would just use bricks, and you can see here I was sort of looking, oh, can I do a mixture of the bricks with it? But I just thought it looked more effective to have it all in sort of the one tone. And you can see I'm panning the camera around every so often, because I was just trying to look and see if it actually fit in with the area. And I think it did, and I feel like I looked at the brickwork that was included with high school years, and I just sort of felt like all of the different elements wouldn't really look right in this neighbourhood. So yeah, I went with this effect. Hopefully you like it. And you can see here I'm trying to figure out the roofing. If you're new to my channel, you won't know that I think my biggest weakness on The Sims 4 is roofing. I find it so hard, and no matter how hard I try, I never get it right first time. But you'll see, I think I'm just about to figure it out now. Yeah, so I use the sort of two triangular aspects and then sort of combine them so they merge in together. But yeah, every single build I will always take a long time figuring out the roof. It just doesn't come naturally to me. But yeah, I much preferred it that way. And so basically, because we have the new pack, I was just going through and looking at the different sort of items that I might want to include. And I knew that I wanted to use these new doorways that have sort of the decorative stickers and stuff on them. And the one thing I will say about those is I do wish that the swatches, I wish that we could have the different designs on the different colour of door frame. Just because, I don't know, because I knew I was using the white door frames around the rest of the house, I sort of felt obligated to use the white ones upstairs as well. And luckily they matched sort of the aesthetic that I wanted for the two children, you know, the teenager and the child characters. But yeah, I sort of feel like going ahead, like I might have trouble with that if I have ideas for sort of different characters, because yeah, you sort of want all the door frames in the house to match. And yeah, and again, I was sort of looking for a good doorway for the actual entrance of the house, because like I've said, this is a little bit smaller, I think, than the normal kind of houses that I would build. So normally I go for these sort of big grand doorways, and it just didn't really look right on this lot. And I did debate this door for a while, but I think because of sort of the angular aspect of the house, I didn't really want a curved door. I wanted one that was very square. So I actually end up using, I think it's a base game door, and sort of I feel like when I put the door in, sort of everything came into place, because I sort of noticed that I don't really use the doors and windows that I use on this build a lot, but they have these sort of like nicks in the frames, in the door frames. And as soon as I saw that, I sort of had this idea in my head that this family have just moved into this house, and it's almost like they're going through and they're decorating the rooms one by one. And I almost feel like maybe by the time they've finished in this house, we might almost have like new windows, a bit fancier doorways, maybe an extension built on. And yeah, I just like the idea that as we progress through the Let's Play, we'll sort of start upgrading those sort of build mode items, if that makes sense. So you'll see the bathroom that I actually end up doing is quite modern, and the fireplace there, I do swap it, but we use quite a modern fireplace. And I almost think that this family have moved in, and the single dad has sort of said to the girls, right, let's really get your rooms nice and how you like them, and let's update the living area, because that's, you know, where we're going to spend a lot of time together. And things like the kitchen and yeah, like the elements like the door frames and that, I always feel like they haven't got round to that yet. So I quite like the idea that yeah, when we progress, those are things we can change with the gameplay. So you can see me here, I am just going through trying to figure out what sort of wallpapers I want to use. And I do quite like this element of the doorway and then having that sort of nook right next to it. And I like what I end up doing there. And you can see here, I'm just going through. I was going to do something not quite so modern in the bathroom, and then I sort of just put this tile in as a placeholder. And the more I looked at it, I sort of thought, like, for example, when I moved into my current house, one of the first rooms I did was the bathroom, and I do think that would probably be a priority for a family with two young girls. You know, I feel like the dad would be like, let's give you a really nice bathroom. So yeah, I ended up making that quite modern, which wasn't actually what I expected to do at first. And I spent quite a while going through these wallpapers, because I feel like because we've just had this new pack, the elements that I didn't use in my high school build, I quite wanted to use here, but I just didn't really like the colour schemes of some of the wallpapers. And yeah, so I ended up going for Alexis's bedroom, who's a teenager. I used this sort of purple effect one, which I've used so many times before, but I actually think that looks nicer with some of the furniture than the wallpapers that came with this pack. So yeah, I much preferred that actually. So you can see here again, I'm going through all the railings because I'm trying to find ones that have those sort of little nicks in them, like I mentioned before. And yeah, I don't know, maybe that's a bit weird of me to sort of use some bits of furniture that's quite modern and then other bits that are a bit run down. But I don't know, I just like the idea that only bits have been upgraded so far. And you can see here, so this is that little nook that I was talking about in the doorway at first. Now, yeah, I was trying to work out if I could shuffle the door over, but I decided I wanted it to look symmetrical out the front. So basically, the reason that we have this awkward little space here is because I needed 4 square tiles upstairs for the bedroom to work, you know, well and have good functionality. And yeah, I just sort of had this extra bit of space, and rather than make it sort of an area that couldn't be used in the lounge, I just extended it out a little bit. And I actually really like what I've done here with this like cabinet from Laundry Day. yeah, I just think it's like a nice little sort of nook where you can come in, you know, put your keys down, leave your shoes. And yeah, and obviously we needed a mirror by the door. Like, that's a big thing when I do my builds. I like to do that a lot. And yeah, I just sort of think actually it makes the space look a lot bigger as well, because obviously this is quite a narrow hallway. And I suppose likewise with using the door frame rather than an actual door, it just makes it seem a bit bigger, a bit airier, a bit brighter. And yeah, and I sort of went for quite a basic colour scheme, you know, just sort of the whites, the quite plain in the hallway. And again, I feel like that's because that's probably a room they haven't really thought about decorating yet. So yeah, I don't know. I quite like sort of the effect that it's not that big, but it doesn't feel empty, if that makes sense. And here I was just going through trying to work out which new sofas I wanted to use. And yeah, I looked at this. I did prefer the smaller one actually. And I started off by having 2 different sofas. And then I got a little way into the build and I suddenly remembered that actually this family I gave a cat to. Now, if you have watched my Create a Sim video, you would have seen that actually what happened was I was using like the play with genetics tool, because I made the teenage girl first and then her sister, and the dad was the last character that I made. And yeah, rather than pressing make their dad, I pressed make a cat by accident. And then as soon as I saw the cat, I was just like, oh, I want this family to have a cat now. So yeah, I ended up removing one of them sofas because I was suddenly like, oh, we need a cat bed. We need, you know, like the little stand thing the cats play on. So yeah, this is going to change a little bit. And again, this is what I mean about the fireplace. So you might have seen I had a bigger one in there originally, and I just felt it was a bit too chunky for the room. And you know, again, I like the idea they've brought in sort of quite modern furniture, and also like the idea that maybe the girls sort of had a lot to do with helping pick out the furniture and sort of furnish the house when they first moved there. And so I've put in this shelf here. I absolutely love it. But since I've started actually doing my Let's Play, something that happens a lot is they will put their plates on that shelf and I don't realise. So of course they end up smelling. So I actually want to go back and add maybe just some little clutter items on there, just so they don't have the option of putting the plates on there, because it's really annoying. And yeah, again, here you can see I'm just looking at some of the new lights. Now for me, the little saucer lights that everyone uses, you know, the small ones, I usually, you know, plop them down when I'm doing my building and then sort of forget to do any lighting when I actually come to furnish the house. And so I made a big effort with this one to change the lights in this room. But I actually find whenever you sort of use other lights, I feel like the lighting in the rooms isn't as good. And I know you can change the intensity and everything, but it's something I always forget to do. And yeah, so I wasn't sure about the desk at first. I was going to put it in one of the bedrooms, but I thought as this is quite a small family, I didn't really expect them all to have, you know, their own computers or a computer in their room. And I decided that I wanted the dad to be in the tech career. So I wanted their computer to be sort of in the lounge and to be a shared computer. And I really wanted to use this new one. I think the computers they've added with this pack are so nice. And it's great to sort of finally have a PC on there that's not, you know, a chunky one. And I know they have a few of the thinner ones, but I don't know, they all seem quite small, if that makes sense. So yeah, I really like the new ones they've added with this pack. And yeah, I was just going through here and sort of I wanted to add some mirrors throughout the house, because again, that's the sort of thing when I'm just sort of finishing up a room, mirrors and plants tend to be the things that I add in last minute, because I just feel like it sort of gives it that finishing touch, you know. And this downstairs toilet, it didn't need much done to it. It's a really small space, and I just basically wanted it to be an additional toilet because I thought with 3 Sims and there only being 1 bathroom, I thought it would be a bit safer just to have a small toilet downstairs just in case. And yeah, so we're moving on to the kitchen now, which again, I've used these cabinets which actually are really nice cabinets. But in my mind, this is one of the rooms that perhaps they haven't got round to decorating yet. And I think because it's such a small room, where I was saying about, oh, I might get them to build an extension when they make a bit more money, I might actually extend this kitchen back a little bit, because I just think it's quite cramped, you know. we put a little dining table in there as well. And for me, I love to build a kitchen in The Sims where you have like a nice island counter and, you know, a big elegant table. And yeah, I almost feel like this is, like I say, they've got nice stuff, but it's just a bit too squished in. And I do end up changing this cooker because I was going to use the bb.move objects cheat, which you can see I'm doing it now, to put the like the stove top on the top. But whenever I've done that before, I could see here it was sort of glitching out a little bit. And when I've done it before, Sims will sort of put things on top of it. And it just, I don't know, it bothers me a little bit. So I didn't really feel like, as much as I love these items, I didn't really feel like they worked well enough with this kitchen. I just think it was a little bit too small. So yeah, that's definitely something that I'm sort of intending to do in my Let's Play. I did think that maybe sort of down the line they might move to the other lot on the other part of the map. But that might sort of be a little way down the line, because I would like to sort of expand this house and do this up a little bit first. So we'll have to see where the Let's Play takes us, I guess. You know, you never know what's going to happen with these things. But yeah, there's bits about this house that I want to change. And I should say actually that I did use a cheat to build this house, because I sort of, with this Let's Play, I sort of had the idea that this family are having a fresh start. But I didn't want it to be that they only have basic items, you know, because we've just got this new pack with such brilliant build and buy mode items. I really sort of wanted to use as many bits as I could. So yeah, I did cheat some money to build this house. So it's not a starter home, unfortunately. But then what I did when I was playing my Let's Play is I took their money back down to, I think it was 6,000 simoleons. And yeah, just because I just wanted it to look like they're sort of a bit established. They're just having a fresh start. And I wasn't sure about this. I ended up doing a laundry room. But I don't know. Sometimes I find laundry a bit annoying in the game. Like I love having the items in the house, but I just think sometimes it's a little bit glitchy for me. I actually play on console, so I don't know if that's something that's just on consoles, but yeah, sometimes like the laundry machine doesn't actually work. So I haven't tried it yet in my gameplay. I probably should, because we're actually a few days into the Let's Play. So yeah, I'll have to try it and see how I get on with it. And yeah, you can see here I'm just going through the new beds, and I was looking at all the different swatches because I saw this swatch on this bed and I really, really liked it. So I thought I'll go through the other ones and just see if there's anything else I prefer. And yeah, I really wanted to use this sort of duvet cover. And that's when I was sort of like, this doesn't really go with the wallpaper that we had. So I changed it to this one. I still don't think it's a great sort of match, but I don't know. I felt it was a bit nicer, this wallpaper. And the child that lives in this room, her name's Lucy, and she's going to be very into her academics, you know, loves studying, you know, would be doing her science experiments on a weekend. And so I really wanted to get a lot of sort of creative items into this room. And here is where I'm remembering that we have a cat again, and trying to figure out where I can put the cat bowl and all these different bits. And I'm guessing this is going to be when I move the sofa. Now, I always do this with builds. Like, I always forget, oh, I need to include the pet items. And yeah, so because I obviously removed the other sofa, I decided that I wanted to have sort of a little chair, because obviously there's 3 of them. And I was just looking for one that sort of went with it, and I didn't like that sort of leather sofa with it, but I really love the effect on these chairs. So yeah, I wanted to use that, and you can see I end up moving these bits around a few times, and I actually think I end up putting this next to the fireplace, because I've just had it on my game where one of the Sims went and lit the fire, and I immediately was just like, nope, we're putting it out, because I just had this vision of all the cat stuff, you know, catching alight. And I should say as well, that wicker bin, I really like that. That's just come with the high school years pack. So yeah, you can see I've gone off of that tangent now of thinking, oh, I need things for the cat. And I'm finishing off Lucy's room just by putting a few different items in. So in my mind, Lucy sort of keeps to herself quite a lot. And yeah, I could see her sort of wanting to sort of play on her own a lot in here. So I wanted a different mixture of items, and I was going to include a little desk, but I actually thought because she's a child I would use the art desk instead, because she tends to do her homework downstairs anyway, or in Alexis's room. And I knew I definitely wanted to use that little, it almost looks like Polaroid pictures in the shape of a heart. I knew I definitely wanted to use that for Alexis's room. I think I haven't sort of styled one of the more sort of grungy rooms yet, but I think the furniture that's added has been so lovely in this pack. And Alexis's room in the end is just like, it would have been my dream bedroom, I think, when I was a teenager. It's so lovely. And again, I haven't even used half the furniture that's come with this pack, so I can't wait to sort of maybe even just do like just build rooms that are different styles. So that maybe that's something I'll do on the channel at some point. And you can see at this point I'm just sort of going through everything and going, oh no, I want to use that, and trying to sort of make my mind up of what furniture to use. And yeah, it was quite hard to sort of know where to place everything in here, because I knew, like I said, I knew that I wanted Lucy's room to be quite busy and to include a lot of stuff. And yeah, I just sort of wanted everything to be functional and usable, and I quite like it. Normally I don't think I would have had the art table next to the wardrobe where it's just sticking out, but I actually think because it's sort of a child's room, something like that wouldn't bother her, because she wouldn't have to sort of squeeze past it all, you know. And so it looks like we are moving on to Alexis's room. And again, choosing between these different beds was so hard. I love every single one of them. And yeah, again, it was sort of the duvet cover that sold it to me, because I knew that I wanted this room to be full of sort of pinks and purples. And then I also used this sort of teal furniture. And for me personally, like I've said before, I love her bedroom because I would say my room's actually purple and teal. They're sort of two of my favourite colours. And I just think it came together so lovely. Like, you could just imagine sort of, you know, in your teenage years having a room like this. And it almost looks like a bedroom from, I think, like a TV show or something, because it's just so well sort of matched and really cutesy and really lovely and put together really nicely. You know, she's got all her bits, you know, her makeup, the big posters, and yeah, I love this room so much. I think it's honestly one of my favourite bedrooms I've ever done on The Sims. And I wasn't sure at first with the windows, the sneak out windows, I wasn't sure. I was like, oh, if I put these curtains over them, will she be able to use them? And I was really worried about that. But I can say that they can be used with those curtains, which again is great, because I really didn't think that would be the case. So I'm so glad that they have actually, you know, taken the time to ensure that can be functional with the curtains over them. And yeah, so we move on to Simon, the dad's room. Now this is actually, again, I'm using the new furniture, but I feel like for him, I don't know, it's a really lovely room, but I feel like I let the side down a bit, because I feel like I've just given him more boring furniture. But, you know, I guess as a single dad, like, he would have the sort of more toned down things. You know, he wouldn't be having a bright duvet cover. And yeah, so this room came together really quickly. Once, you know, I knew that I was using that wooden bed frame, it was just a case of sort of adding all the other, you know, wooden items. And this again is a point where I go, oh, I don't have like laundry baskets in any of the rooms. So yeah, I went back through and added all of those. And yeah, like, again, in terms of the build, I knew that I wanted Simon's room to be next to Alexis's room, just because of the whole sneak out element. And you can see here, I found this and I was sort of like, oh, can I make a canopy bed? But I actually wonder now if that is something to do with like the prom events. Now, I've not played that through yet on my Let's Play, so I'll have to see. But it just didn't really seem to fit going over a bed very well. But yeah, maybe that'll be something we try and do down the line. And yeah, like, again, I feel like with Simon's room, and especially where I've been playing lately, I feel like I'm trying to use different items. So, for example, with the curtains that I've used in here, I've used those curtains so many times, but I've never used that swatch. And I feel like actually by recording this stuff for YouTube, I feel like it's actually really enhancing my gameplay and the way that I'm playing the game, because it is sort of pushing me to do different things. And yeah, so I'm really, really, really happy that I've sort of started doing this. And yeah, so if you're watching this, thank you for watching. And so right now I am just going through and making the last sort of finishing touches, adding in things like toilet roll and all the little bits that I always tend to forget. And I knew that I wanted to use that little sort of shelf in the bathroom, but unfortunately I don't feel like it's a good match. I wish that we had sort of like a pure white swatch of that, because it looks a bit mismatched, but I ended up keeping it just because I really like it. And yeah, I like to sort of, when I play, I like to have sort of the back walls up, so I always like to have sort of a picture or something like that on the wall sort of in every room, just because I think it makes it look a bit nicer when you're playing. And yeah, so I'm just getting a few different bits on the patio now. In my first episode of my Let's Play, I actually end up moving these bits around a bit, because obviously it's a tiny space. There wasn't really room to do much on there, but because my character got one of the cheerleading mats, I've ended up just moving the bench over to the corner just so I can get a cheerleading mat in there. And yeah, again, really strange for me to play the game and not have like a big garden or, you know, a lawn area. But yeah, as I say, maybe that's something we'll try and add, or I don't know, because I feel like we've used up a lot of this actual lot. Like, there's not a lot of extra space, so maybe we'll see if we can put some like plant pots or something out. And yeah, I hope you like the build. Like I say, if you do, you can download it off the gallery already. And yeah, I would love to know if you're playing High School Years and what you think about it. And obviously, if you want to watch my Let's Play, it's on the channel. So if you have liked this video, please give it a like on YouTube. And if you would subscribe, I would be so grateful. As I say, I'm really enjoying doing this, so I think it's really increasing my confidence as well. So yeah, thank you very much for your support if you've been watching this, and hopefully I will catch you in the next one. Bye!